Okay, Pierson regular council meeting for Tuesday, January 21st, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. will now come to order. Yvonne, would you do the roll call, please?
I sure will. Mayor David Gray Leonard.
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland.
Here.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson.
Here.
Councilwoman Richardson.
Here.
Councilwoman Brady Peterson.
Here.
Town Planner Mark Brett.
Here.
Volusia County Sheriff, and Ryan and I are present.
Okay. Lenny, would you please do the invocation?
Absolutely. Let us pray. Dear Lord, I come to you tonight with great thanks for another day you've given our wonderful community. I ask you, dear Lord, to protect everyone that lives within its limits or that may pass through. I ask a special blessing tonight on the farmers as we deal with this catastrophic weather event that we're facing. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for this council, our planning and zoning, and anyone that we employ to help with the day-to-day runnings of this great town. Dear Lord, I ask you to please grant us wisdom and direction as we consider the business before us tonight. I ask these things in your great name. Amen.
Amen. Everybody please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First item for consideration is item number 4 on your agenda. It's approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on January 14th, 2025, and approval of the minutes for the emergency meeting on January 14th, 2025. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at those minutes? Okay.
Move to approve.
There's been a motion made to approve the minutes for January the 14th for the regular meeting and January the 14th for the emergency meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All approved. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Under new business, the first item of new business is a legal service agreement with Scott E. Simpson, PA. Is there any discussion and action on this? We're seeking to retain Mr. Simpson as our new town attorney. Anything you'd like to ask?
I have one question. In your contract, on page 2, paragraph 2, should the town attorney have an unavoidable conflict, none of which are anticipated, the town attorney shall assist the town in retaining appropriate legal counsel for the matter in which the conflict exists. Does that mean if you have a conflict and can't attend a meeting, you will send us representation?
It could be that, or it could also be if I have a legal conflict where I can't represent you on a particular issue.
Okay.
Then I would help you locate another attorney to represent you.
Okay.
But I also wouldn't represent the other party that I have a conflict on.
Right.
Both sides.
Okay. So if you are unavailable, you would have a paralegal usually or someone that you could send to attend a meeting?
Yeah, I've worked with other attorneys in
Okay.
the firm. They is, of course, we McKinnon.
Right.
And there are attorneys that I would be able
Okay.
to, if necessary. But when I talked to Mark, and we went over the schedule, these dates don't conflict with other cities I represent.
Wonderful. That's all I had.
Yeah, and Scott, if you don't mind me calling you Scott, now you're willing to come on full time? Am I?
I mean, when you say full-time, I'm a full-time employee.
I meant not intern, not as an intern attorney, but
Interim.
interim attorney. But you'd be able to stay on as our attorney.
Yes, when I put the agreement together, I was kind of vacillating on, do I want to say interim or not? I didn't want to be presumptuous. But, you know, the agreement provides, whether it's interim, and then only the title says interim, I can take that out. But you can terminate me with 3 votes anytime you want. So honestly, it's always interim.
It's right.
So,
Okay.
it's interim until you hire another one. So, but, you know, yes, I would like to do it on a permanent basis, but I didn't want to presumptuous to put that in there. I didn't know what choice.
Good. Well,
And I saw you're kind enough that should you decide to not represent the town anymore, you'll give us 60 days.
At least, yeah. I don't foresee that. I've never done that. I've never
That-
not represented.
That's very kind.
yes,
That's very
it is
kind.
very kind. Thank you.
I mean, I can give a little history, but our firm has represented Pierson. I don't know if any of you know Bill McKinnon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I work with Bill McKinnon.
I got you.
So I've done work for Pierson when Noah was doing, and I don't know how long he was town attorney for. I think it was quite a while.
It was.
But yeah, I still work with Noah and his son Abe.
Mm-hmm.
So we also
Good deal.
the firm still works together.
Okay, is there any more discussion that, want to ask any more questions? I would, entertain a motion.
With that, I make a motion that we hire Scotty Simpson, PA, as our town attorney.
Motion's been made to retain, Scott Simpson, PA, as our attorney. Is there a second? Second. Motion is made by Vice Mayor Robert Greenland to retain Scotty Simpson as our new town attorney, and was seconded by Councilmember Jimmy Anderson. I'm ready to call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is carried. Do you want to do that as a roll call vote too? Go ahead and, let's also do a roll call vote on that item.
Okay, Councilwoman Brandy Peterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson,
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland,
Yes.
Mayor Gray Leonard.
Yes. Let the record show that we did do a roll call vote on this item, and it passed unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Motion's carried.
You-
Would you like to come up on stage and join us?
Either way.
And join us as our new attorney.
That's a very nice place y'all have here.
Your name tag.
Okay, got you. Welcome on board.
Thank you.
All righty, we're ready to move on to our next item of business, which is item number 5B. That's going to be a presentation by Jim Ashby with Weston and Gregory on our new audit for 2024 audit results. The floor is yours, Mr. Ashby.
Good evening, everybody. I've got a couple of new council members here this year.
Thank you.
All right, my name is Jim Ashby. I'm with Weston and Gregory CPAs, and I'm here to present the audit for the town of Pierson, Florida for the year ended September 30th, 2024. Everybody should have a audit report in front of them to look through. I'm not going through all the pages in here because it's about 42 pages. So I'm going to hit a couple of the key financial statements in here, go over some of the key numbers. So if anybody has questions, just go ahead and raise your hand or just yell at me. And okay. All right, so on pages 1 and 2 is the independent auditor's report. It says in there it's management's responsibility for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements, and our responsibility to audit the financial statements and express an opinion that the financial position of the town is presented fairly in all material respects. We gave these financial statements an unmodified audit opinion. It's the best report available. Okay, let's switch over to page 9. This is the statement of net position for the town. It gives us an overview of the assets and the liabilities of the town's 2 funds. We have a government fund, a governmental fund, and a water fund. The town has total assets of $4,774,000, total liabilities of $403,000, and a net position of $4,473,000 at September 30th, 2024. On the assets, the bulk of the town's assets are in cash and property and equipment. The town's cash amount is $1,549,000, approximately 32% of the town's assets, and this is $216,000 higher than the prior year. The property and equipment make up $3,170,000, or 66% of the assets of the town, and that's an increase over the prior year, mostly due to additions at the water and wastewater system. A few years ago, the town received a grant from the federal government for $948,000. It was used to pay for deputy services between 2021 and December 2024. So we utilized the final funds from that this year, which was $159,000. That offset part of our deputy service in 2024. So that grant is done now, and everything's settled up. On the liability side, the biggest liability on there is the Florida retirement system. We have to show a proportionate share of the unfunded net pension liability at the FRS. So the town's net pension liability was $280,000, and that's approximately $15,000 more than last year. These amounts would only have to be paid out if the FRS ever went belly up, and it's like almost 90% fully funded. It's really probably one of the strongest pensions in the country. So, but they make all the towns take their small percentage. Our percentage is 0.0006 and about 10 more numbers. So it's really low.
Pretty small.
So on the net position on this page, the unrestricted portion of the town's net assets is $1,299,000. It's broken down. General fund has $1,053,000, and the water fund $247,000. That's $233,000 higher than the prior year. The unrestricted net assets of almost $1.3 million amounts to approximately 12 months operating expenses for the town. We recommend having no more than 12 months operating expenses for the town. Used to be 6 months. Most people do 12 months now. So we're right there at a property reserve. Maybe a little bit over that. So we want to try to keep that reserve in there. We bought CDs this year. We're earning good interest income on those now, and the interest is probably going to start going down as they lower the rates, but we're still getting 3.5.
Well, we're renewing one tonight, it's only 2.5.
2.5. See, they're already going down.
They were like at 6 last year. Ours, we got, the ones we got last year were 5. 5.2. Now they're 2.5.
So it's still a lot more than we were earning 5 or 6 years ago, which was like 0. So that's good there. So the town also has a net position of $3,170,000, but that's all the capital assets. It's all unspendable amounts. So that's the breakdown between those two, and it's an increase of $180,000 over the prior year. The total net position increased by $414,000 over the prior year, so that's basically the net income for the town in total. Do you want to flip to the next page? Okay. This will be it's the statement of activities. Basically, your income and your expenses broken down between the government and the water fund, and kind of mixed together. So I'll try to give you the best breakdown as I can. So the town has total income of $1,960,000 and total expenses of $1,546,000. So that's where the $414,000 net income comes from. Total income over the prior year decreased by $547,000, and that was mostly due to grant income, which was a decrease of $853,000. We had a lot of grant income in the prior year for the water wells and the sewer. So that's a big decrease there. And then we also had increases. We had a new town hall. We sold that for $425,000, so they kind of balanced out in there for the net number. Total expenses were only $15,000 more than the prior year. All right, any questions on that? No? All right, we'll switch over to the next page. That's combined statements for water and general fund. And then they also break it out by general fund all by itself and then water fund all by itself. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit. The governmental fund currently has page 11 through 14. So page 11, the governmental fund has $1,242,000 in assets, only $11,000 in liabilities, and a fund balance of $1,231,000. This improved over the prior year by $469,000. Go to the next page, which is two more pages probably. It should be the revenues and expenses for the general fund.
Page 13, is that where you?
13? Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so total revenues in the general fund were $1,603,000. This was an increase of $213,000 from the prior year, an increase in taxes of $98,000, sale of the old town hall of the $425,000, and a decrease in grant income of $212,000. That pretty much accounts for most of it. The net income for the general fund was $469,000, an increase over the prior year of $192,000. So everything sounds rosy in there. Total expenses $1,134,000, an increase of $21,000 over the prior year. But without the grant revenues of $159,000 and the sale of the old town hall for $425,000, the general fund would have lost approximately $115,000 for the year. So without, and we're not going to have those two next year; they both go away. So we really need to, keep close to the budget and try to be right on budget on a lot of things. We have a cushion that we built up in reserves, but we want to keep that 12-month cushion. All right. Want to go to 15 and 16? That'd be our water fund separated out. So the town currently has $2,027,000 in assets, $359,000 in liabilities, and a fund balance of $168,000. That's an increase of $95,000 over the prior year. Our water sales at $370,000, approximately a $38,000 increase over the prior year. Our operating expenses of $359,000 was a decrease of about $27,000 over the year, just a bunch of small amounts, nothing right out of whack, just increases across the board, like everybody sees in their normal life. So the net effect of the water fund income of $95,000. Any questions on those two pages there? Okay. Well, that's basically the summary of what I wanted to present to you tonight. Just to summarize what we went over. So we have an unmodified audit opinion on the report, the best we can see. The accounting was really good. We had very few journal entries to make adjustments to the books. So they should be really neat when you want to go in there and get a copy of it 1 month, or if you get them at the monthly meetings, we're in really good shape. The overall financial condition has improved over the last couple of years. We have a tiny little amount of debt. I think it's like $8,000. So little to no debt for the town. So we're all, overall everything looks good. Any questions?
So, including the 400 and whatever thousand sale from the bank, and then we had wasn't there some COVID money? 150
remaining for this year.
Right. And we need to keep 12 months operating expenses for reserve.
What
So-
did you say we stood on that reserve? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Reserve was it's 12 months. So what I did is I took all the expenses for the town for the year, divided it by 12, and it gave me 12.5 months worth of expenses. So, but the total expenses I can pull pull it out of here, was, find it. But that's what it came out to be, when I
Okay.
calculated it. So,
I know several years ago, like you spoke earlier, Jim, that is it the state that wants municipalities to have a 12-month surplus now?
they definitely want you to do, because we do a financial condition assessment of the town every year, and that's a requirement in the audit report. We have to, submit that you guys pass with a good assessment. So there's like 20 factors that are in there, and that's one of them. There's a lot of them, but that's one of the biggest ones.
But not long ago, it was 6 months, correct?
Yeah. We got it up to 6 months, and now we got it up to 12 months, so I think that's where you really want to be.
Okay.
So basically, we've been-
bad years. We used to be probably 6 to 12 months, and then we just had a few bad years in there.
Right.
And I think we've gotten it back.
We've gotten back to where we really need to be.
But the sale of the bank
Right.
and the
And the
COVID
Yeah.
money is what kept us
Right.
above, right?
Yes.
So we basically need to be very conservative with our spending.
And we bought the building here, put a lot of money into it, fixed it up. So we needed the money out of the old town hall to recover all that money, because that's
Right.
where we were. That basically just washed it back in. So that was good that we did that. You don't need two overheads.
No.
Going on. No questions, Ryan?
Anybody else have anything?
I have nothing further.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your report,
Thank you, Jim.
and I'm happy that we're in the shape we're in. So it's
I don't
good.
know if you have to approve it.
I don't think so. Just real quick though, so what we should probably be focused on though going forward is some kind of revenue, whether it's renting these buildings or something, because we're gonna be, the budget was,
Yeah,
we had to borrow money
But
from
they
the.
could cover your, tank budget.
Right. But we have some other people interested in some buildings, we've got some ideas, but we just haven't had a chance to make any of that happen.
With that, I'd like to make a motion to accept the audit results by Weston and Gregory, Mr. Jim Ashby.
Been a motion made by our vice mayor to accept these audit results by Weston and Gregory, as presented by Mr. Ashby. Is there a second?
Second?
Motion is made and by Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenland and seconded by Councilmember Wayne R. Richardson. Is ready for the question. We need to do a roll call vote on this, please.
Councilwoman Brenda Peterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Melanie Richardson,
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland,
Yes.
Mayor Ray Leonard.
Yes. Let the record show we did a roll call vote to accept our audit report and unanimous passed unanimously.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it very much. Next item up for discussion is the 5C, and it's security cameras and monitoring at our wells and water tower. It's Deputy Clerk Ryan Smith.
Okay, so I don't know how much of all of this you all know, but several years ago now, we spent approximately $15,000 out of the water fund to install security cameras at both the water tower and at the well site. So there's cameras at the well site, they're on, they're operational, but there's no internet there for us to be able to remotely view footage, review footage. You would actually have to physically go to the water tower, plug a computer monitor into it to review it. The ones at the water tower never actually had power put to them, so they've never even been on this whole time. So what I did is I was trying to figure out a solution to get internet at both sites so that, well, and also power at the water tower site, but I have an electrician coming tomorrow, but The internet side of it, we'd really like to have them connected so that we can review them real time wherever we are if we have an emergency like we had this past weekend. I reached out to Verizon because we have a business account with Verizon. They handle our town phones. They handle our emergency phones that we use during hurricanes. And they put me in touch with their third-party company that handles all of their hardware. And I got a quote for essentially 2 wireless antennas that would mount, the one at the wells would mount to the roof of the building over there. And then the one at the water tower would mount to the pole that they put in for the actual security cameras themselves. But basically, they're like 2 hotspots. They have antennas on them, so they can get good service from the 5G tower. And that would essentially give you connectivity at both sites. I looked into trying to get Spectrum out there. Spectrum doesn't want to plow a cable from 17 down through the airport to the wells. They just don't want to do it. So we figured wireless might be the easiest way to go. So what you're looking at is a quote for 2 of the PepLink cellular routers. They would, one for each location, and then they would obviously have a SIM card in them, and they would just be added to our monthly town Verizon bill. But the equipment itself is $1,692.50. And that includes all of the setup fees, the SIM cards, the equipment. I think all we actually would be responsible for is we probably have to mount them ourselves. But that shouldn't be difficult. It comes with the hardware. We just have to place them.
What is the monthly fee?
They didn't give me a breakdown of the monthly fee, but I'm assuming like most hotspots, it's probably whatever our plan is for each town phone, $40 a month or something like that per SIM. So, because it's basically just like a cell phone data SIM that goes in them for unlimited internet. And they wouldn't be monitored. I explained to the guy, we don't need to watch them 24/7. I don't need anything, because they were going to come out here and install a fiber line. I was like, no, we just need to be able to log in and download footage if someone asks for it or if we want to spot check something. The only other thing I don't have with me, I contacted Fred Huff to get electric installed from the meter over at the tower to the camera site. There, if you go out there, there's a pole with a box mounted to it, and all the camera equipment's in that box. He's just got to run a conduit from the meter, probably 40 feet, to the box, and then put an outlet in it. He was supposed to meet me before New Year's, but I think he talked to Yvonne today, and he's supposed to come tomorrow. So I would have to get a quote on that. Hopefully it's not high, but I just feel like, we spent 15 grand. It's been 3 or 4 years ago now on all the surveillance equipment, but we can't access any of it.
Yeah, that's
We need
ridiculous.
to be able to use it if we have it.
And I did have the company, they were out on Coast, Web Watchdogs is the company that installed it. And they came out and we went to both sites. I rode with them. The one at the water tower, the wells, he showed me. You could plug a monitor in, and it had 25 days worth of footage on it. So that one is working. It's just not connected to the internet. And then when we went to the tower site, there's just never been power installed over there. So those cameras are just sitting there. He said they probably work, but we won't know until we plug them in. I mean, none of the equipment looks damaged or, but and we're also, in addition to that, we pay $1,000 a year for the warranties, the extended warranties on them, and this whole time they haven't been used. So what's the point if we don't have a way to actually look at the footage? Or in the case of the water tower, it's not even recording footage. But I just feel like, given the fact that it is a public water system, we probably should have surveillance in addition to, I know that there's physical barriers, lock gates, and that kind of thing, but we should probably also have surveillance there.
We have an obligation to 1,500 people to protect it.
So this $1,692.50, that's for all the equipment that we're going to need. The only thing that we're waiting on a price on is the electrical connection, correct? Okay. On item number 5C on our security cameras, as researched and explained by Deputy Clerk Ryan Smith, I would entertain a motion to move forward with this so we can have proper security on our wells.
Since we spent that much money and it's not done us no good, this little bit right here is just a little bucket as far as, you know, what we've already spent and ain't done us a lick of good. I think we all.
Would you make that in the form of a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept Ryan's bid here on this setting up for the tower.
All right, there's been a motion made by Councilmember Jimmy Anderson to move forward with the AWDS cost of $1,690.50 to help get camera surveillance on our wells and our water tower. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded by Councilmember Lenny Richardson. Yvonne, I'd like to do a roll call vote on this item, please.
Councilwoman Brandy Peterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson,
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland,
Yes.
Mayor David Ray Leonard.
Yes. I'll let the record show that we did a roll call vote on item 5C for our security cameras and monitoring at our wells and water towers, passed unanimous. Okay. Moving along, we're going to go to item D, which is landscaping rock here at our town center. This has been brought up before on a couple occasions, I think. And it was never, I don't think it was ever finalized. I think maybe it had been approved previously, but nothing had ever happened. So I want to bring this up again so we can actually move forward with this. You have, go ahead.
I thought we had approved, yeah, I know we had approved it.
I thought we had to.
And we were gonna buy it from Tri-Town or Ace Hardware.
Right.
Local.
The problem with that was I
Didn't
don't
have it.
Yes.
They didn't have it, and then we changed from the white pebble rock to the river rock, which was a difference in price.
Okay, yeah. And I think this bid that is, I got from Stone Plus over in Palm Coast, there's some, you know, pretty large supplier, this type of stuff. I think it was actually, what was it, $8 cheaper, I think, didn't you say, Ryan?
It was $8 cheaper than the quote I got in April, but
This quote is way out of quotable.
we've gone back and forth about this for a year. So initially we got a price on River Rock. People thought it was too high. So then we got a price on the little tiny like limestone looking white rock. And then when we came back, the former mayor and the council agreed they didn't like the look of that. They wanted the River Rock. Sammy said he could get it for about the same price at Tri-Town. Then we went to Tri-Town. It wasn't in stock. They didn't sell it by the yard. You had to buy it by the bag. No one could ever tell me what the actual price was going to be. And then we dropped it again. So now we're back to River Rock. So, you know, this is the agenda item that won't die. So. Sorry if I sound frustrated by that.
No, that's
Just wrong.
so. Obviously, the price that's quoted on this would not be $2,353.93 because we're tax exempt. They just need our tax number. So the price delivered would be $21.99.93, and that's for 7 yards of rock, which I think is kind of what Ryan and I figured that it would take to fill in those beds. I think we calculated around 6.5, but another half a yard just in case we're a little.
And there is a second, the Volusia shed quote that I got is on the back of that page so you can see. I mean, they're almost identical. They're the same style of rock, same delivery. There's an $8 difference in the total price on those. So if that's the type of rock you want, that's about the going rate.
Well, since we have approved this already, I'd make a motion that we go ahead and move forward on this and get it done.
My question is, do you want to, move forward with,
River Rock?
the place in Vanilla at Stone Plus, or do you want to try to go with the, West Volusia Shed?
On the place in Vanilla, $8
The
cheaper.
one place in Vanilla is, it's $8 cheaper.
Well, that's Stone Plus, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is Stone Plus.
Yeah.
And I did some business with them several years ago. They delivered some rock for me and it was spot on. I mean,
I've always bought online.
Well, I moved that let's get this done. I make a motion that, we purchase the River Rock from Stone Plus in Palm Coast for a price of $21.99.93.
okay, the motion is made by Vice Mayor Robert F. Freeman to make the purchase on our River Rock to do our landscaping at the front of the town center from Stone Plus and Palm Coast for an amount of $2,199.93. Is there a second?
Second?
Motion seconded by Councilwoman Randy Pierson. Ready for the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried by unanimous vote. Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is item 5C. It's the status update on the Hagerton Road drainage canal easement. And that is Councilwoman Lenny R. Richardson.
Thank you, Mr.
Chair,
Mayor.
for you.
So, as we're all aware, we're going to be repairing the dip in the road where the water stands there on Hagstrom. And, we were waiting on some surveys from Efforts. So Ryan got a preliminary survey and we were looking at it. And it just does not look correct to me. They show it wanting to run from that dip in the road, kind of northeast. If you look at the ground, it's running uphill there. Water's not gonna run up a hill. So I asked Ryan if Mark Corrett at Zeb Cohen thought there was someone, a geologist, whomever, could look at this project before we spend another damn dime, that we don't make a big mistake that's gonna jump up and bite us and cost us more money in the long run. And you did say yes, there,
Yes, and we've taken a look at it, we took that data and, we took a survey point, because basically what Larry Inford was doing was he presented a draft easement, and wanted us to confirm. And both, you don't have to be a drainage expert to realize that there does need to be some adjustments, so.
yeah,
We created an exhibit, somebody who was a drainage expert did look at it and said, yes. So we will take their file and we will alter it and send it back to them and tell them this is how they should adjust their easement.
okay. Wonderful, thank you. I mean, because we know that the attorney's going to have work to do on this project.
Mhm.
And I just thought, my God, let's put the brakes on and make certain before we
Oh, I
do
agree.
anything else.
Yeah, from what I understand, we did reach out to Larry for asking if he had any, additional topography information that, wasn't in the file he sent us. Which he said, no, he did not, because he wanted to get this confirmed first. So we'll get some, spot elevations, from there. Just looking at aerial, I'm assuming they went in where they did, because it was
There was
the
that
easiest
road and
location.
they go in,
to get in.
Right, and that's just not it.
I have a question on this, Mark. looking at this aerial, and I've looked at some other aerials, it looks to me like this area more or less drains toward this, like there's a pond here. It's almost in the middle of our satellite image. Is that like a normal drainage area there? I mean, how much would we have to alter things to make it go around that pond? Because it looks like it's kind of naturally flowing into that pond. Which is where you have some markers on there. I think there's one of them says 40, one has 41. I assume that's elevation.
I have exhibits. Unfortunately, I just have this one.
Right. I mean,
that I can kind of, walk you through, where the range is. But basically, if you guys looking at, is this the exhibit you guys are looking at?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
So the actual low point you can see is kind of north of there on Haitian Road. You can see to the west of the road, you see like that 40, you see 42, 43, 41.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That low point, is right there at that road. Really, we're going to recommend that the easement essentially extend out eastward from there as opposed to being up north. So, and you can see sort of, where that canal was historically. So if we extend it out, you eventually will hit the easement that Eford is drawn out, and the water kind of flows, will flow kind of along that. It will flow along from west to east and then north and kind of sheet flow out into the pond. Kind of, it swings around and goes through that. Where that closed culvert area is kind of, where it needed to be.
Where on this map is that property that's been filled in?
It's right here, see there's a mark on it, or mine there is.
Yeah, right there.
Right there.
Yeah, but they did alter that land.
Oh, yeah, they
But I
definitely
don't
put dirt in
think
there.
that is what's causing
You don't think
The
that's
whole
what?
issue, no.
I think, you know what? I think,
The water does, like I said, sort of.
you know what I think? It'd be a whole lot easier
To raise the dam.
to raise the damn road up 4 damn feet and put a big culvert under there.
That's what I believe as
I
well.
mean, it will be,
It's still got a drain.
that is the
That's
ultimate
my-
solution. You do need to get the water, though, away from the road. It's because of this drainage feature, whatever, ditch, whatever it was,
Yeah.
is no longer functioning. The water is just sitting there on the road, so you got to do both. You got to, raise the road, and
Now,
when
where is
you
it?
got to get this pond, you got to get this ditch functioning as well.
To Shaw Lake. Char Lake.
Sure.
Just Shaw Lake, yeah, not Shaw Lake, yeah.
But
I
as
was
a
talking-
child, I never remember the water over that road like it is.
I don't either.
But you stand there, I'd be willing to bet the farm that road has sunk 3 feet.
I believe that road has sank as well. And, because I've lived here for 76 years and I don't ever remember that road being
Ever.
covered with water like it is consistently done now. In fact, it has water standing on it as we speak.
Well,
Almost all the way across it.
That ditch, it was there, it served its purpose, but it has grown up. I mean, that's been years ago.
Yeah, and I mean.
And it's just
when
filled
I
in
went
with
and looked-
natural vegetation and I believe the road is sunk too, and we got a damn problem there.
Road
So-
sunk, there's no ditches, which
Right.
we
Right.
have that problem. A few places around town that need ditches back there. There was a reason why we had ditches. We just haven't had the rain the ditches, I think we're back there. And I think that it drains, when I look at it, I think it drains south where the ditch is, and then it goes to that great big ditch, which you said that you didn't remember there being water there. But there's a big, huge ditch just south of that that looks like the original ditch that you can't see probably drained to that, which would still go the same direction to get
Shar
it
Lake?
out of there. Yes.
Yeah, the east to get it out.
Kane Lake. Yeah,
Yeah.
where Dr. Shaw lived, but it's,
I don't remember in our discussions with, we had Road and Bridge, right?
Come look at it. I
Come look
wasn't
at it.
there. Yeah, I remember.
Did their quote include raising the road, or was it
Not-
just
It
putting
was,
in?
but it wasn't by a lot.
Okay.
It was
So
still fairly
maybe
expensive.
we need to get,
60,000, which I thought was reasonable considering what we thought it was gonna be, but they were only gonna raise it like 6 inches. So,
I remember, and Buddy, you're probably the one who was, Kirby got a quote of like to fix this problem. Maybe it was like $500,000.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think-
it was. I do
it being
remember.
very expensive, yeah.
Yes, tremendous amount of
yeah,
money.
the latest quote we got from Road and Bridge is you fix the drainage and then we'll come back and we'll just take up the road, fix the base. Cause that's basically what Road and Bridge told us is that because the water's not gonna drain off of it, the base of the road there is like a sponge and it just absorbs more and more water, which is why that road is crumbling and sinking. So he said, until you do get that water away from there, no amount of repaving it or fixing it is gonna do anything. Now, even if you put culverts under there, you're still gonna have base packed around that that's gonna stay wet. So you'd either have to build it like a bridge, which would cost us a lot of money, or you've gotta drain the water.
yeah,
out.
I agree, we have to drain the water.
So it's still gonna be a 2-phase, fix the drainage problem and then fix the road.
Part of that's got to be dug is part of Donald's property, right?
There's 3 properties in
And I know he said that he didn't care.
Right, but I just, after looking at the information that Eford sent, I did not agree with what their opinion was. Water does not run uphill. So I said, before we have the attorney start drawing up legal easements and getting people to sign and all, let's put the brakes on. Have someone that is a professional in this arena look at this problem before we make a mistake.
And that's why Eford sent this, because Eford told him,
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we agree with it before he wrote legal descriptions, otherwise it's a waste of everybody's time.
And
So-
right.
You know, we were talking, when we both grew up here and we never remember that road being in that condition that it's in now. It would be interesting to me to look at some historical aerial documentation of this ground in this area. Are these 2 ponds here man-made ponds or are they natural ponds?
I don't know.
If they're man-made ponds and that dirt was used to fill in this area, then maybe that's why it's not flowing like it used to. But
But the ponds are closer to where it needs to be, meaning that it's like, I don't know, I don't understand that. Right, there's 2 ponds?
yeah, there's 2 ponds there, right?
I don't think that.
No.
I wouldn't see, but I'm not sure.
Anyhow,
The county Road and Bridge seems to think that it drained north of those ponds. If you look at this, you can see the tree line, the vegetation there.
yes, it looks like there was a
He
creek
said that is
there,
where
ditch there.
that used to drain.
I can show you, but unfortunately I just have one exhibit.
Okay.
You have to be like a teacher, Mark.
Yeah, let me come up.
You want, right?
Well, I see what they're talking about.
Come down, show you, right? Okay, so this is the easement that Eford is proposing. Okay,
So that's
This-
right here.
right. Flooding problem is, I mean, the ponding problem is here. The low point is here. The way the water should flow is here, out here, and then it flows. You can see that, you know, it flows this way. These are the lower elevations, and then sheet flows towards the lake that way. It's going to swing around. These are all 40s. This is down in elevation 635, so it's going to come from the 40 here and move around this higher elevation here, and then out to the water.
And now towards Lake Dishon.
Right.
So this whole piece really is what? I mean, what is that piece?
Well, these are all, but you can see these are
No,
all
they-
higher. Well, I mean, I think what he's doing is there's Richardson Road, right?
Right.
And I guess he's picking that up. You know, I don't know what his initial instructions were. They probably, they came,
Because that's a long way.
right? But I guess what he's doing is he's picking up,
I think that
he's picking up an easement over
giving
where
you
Rich,
access through Donald
Right.
Jackson's
Right.
property from the end of Richardson into his property, so
Right.
you can maintain it.
Right.
That's not
So-
necessarily where the ditch is going.
right, the ditch is here. And this should go this way, not up here. It should just go straight.
Yeah, I was confused by that too, but the more I looked at it, I
Yeah.
think he's giving you an easement where they plan out to maintain.
Much better, yeah. Your
Oh, I
copy.
didn't understand how that little
Right.
piece was
Right.
even part of it.
So here's the easement that he drew.
Okay.
This is where,
This is Hastings Road.
this Hagstrom Road. This is the low point that I pointed out earlier. Here's where the ponding on the road actually occurs.
Okay.
Assuming,
The easement should actually kind of go this way,
yes.
straight. And then the water, you can see here's these higher elevations here in the 40s. It's down here, you know, 30 and the mid 30s. So the water actually kind
It should
of
come
swings
out-
around.
Come out from here.
Right, right.
That's like the natural.
Right.
So it goes north of that pond.
Yeah, but it will sheet flow across. We, you know, for whatever reason, this guy has never been, the person who's close to the lake has never been approached.
We've never talked to him though.
So, I mean, certainly that could be done as well.
But that's why we wanted to get the surveys done, because the previous mayor swore to us that that guy was not involved. It was just Donald and Pete, but it's not. That, it goes across that third person's
Right, now,
property. So he's-
legally, you know, I mean, water, the way I understand it, the way it's always been explained to me, you can interrupt the flow of water. So if, you know, water's gonna flow from a higher elevation to lower elevation. Lower elevation has to accept the water.
So
So,
what's your thought on moving forward to this?
So we will, we'll prepare an exhibit telling him how to adjust his easement. And,
You're talking about Eford.
Eford.
Okay.
Eford, right? And so he will then draw up legal descriptions, and then we will need to present easement documents to the landowners to grant us easements. So that
Okay.
we'll obviously need Scott's assistance once we have developed the legal descriptions from you.
That was the reason Christian had never reached out to anyone, because he said he wanted the legal descriptions before he approached the property owners to say, you know, it's going across your property.
Right. And supposedly, the former mayor had at least taken care of the preliminary.
You can talk to the property owner, so we gotta be careful not to flood someone else's
No, it goes to a lake.
So ultimately,
You-
it'll go to
It's gonna go,
It's
this is a
it's
very
gonna end
large
up right
lake.
here in this lake. It's a
This
big
is a
lake.
very large lake out here.
Sliver of it.
It's been there for millions of years.
So we just need an easement to get the water from Hagstrom Road
To the
to the
lake.
lake.
Correct. That's where this
This,
thing looks like a little creek bed or whatever it is, a tree line.
Yeah.
That's where it's going, is into this lake. Into this lake.
So do we need an easement all through here or just to get to this point?
I think we're gonna need the, this is, on the back of this map, this is the easement we're looking to get, right?
That is the draft easement that
Right.
was drawn by Eford. We're gonna adjust it, but yes, that's essentially it.
Okay. So this right here, this right here. Yes. It's this one.
He color coded each owner's property.
Yeah, he
Oh,
coded
this
it,
is the edge of the one.
Which piece was there just out of it?
just so you know which parcel it's on, basically.
Donald Jackson
This
is,
one, this property.
got most of the land,
It's all the green.
need to be dug on.
They all got a little piece.
What was in the back of this? I know when the water's been over that road, I've been through there, and there's even fish in the ditch. I don't know where they come from, but there's
Probably
been
coming out-
fish in it,
Probably coming out of Mott's Lake.
and there's also been a big old turtle that I seen in the road there. I hauled off and threw it in the other ditch down the road where he could swim on.
So why don't we have, Zeb Cohen finish their opinion and bring it back to us? And then we'll direct Scott to, after we feel confident.
Right, we gotta get Eford to adjust, his exhibits for Scott.
Right.
Right.
So,
you got to adjust the easement.
yeah, so we're gonna make an adjustment.
Right.
And then we'll prepare an exhibit, and we'll share it with Ryan and Larry Eford at the same time, and tell Larry Eford not to do anything, so everybody agrees
Right.
that this is what we want.
Meredith entertained a motion to that effect to, have, Deb Cohen move forward with this.
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion made by Lenny Richardson to move forward with, letting Deb Cohen to, try to address this issue, seconded by Councilwoman Randy Peterson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. 5F, next item on the agenda, audio equipment for the Town Center Auditorium, Deputy Clerk Ryan Smith.
I didn't forget about you, Paul. So this is an entertaining one because, well, you'll see. I called 3 companies for quotes on audio equipment here in the auditorium so that people could hear a little bit better in the auditorium, but also to mic everything to make it easier to record council meetings on audio. So the first guy that came out, all wired tech from Ormond Beach, very professional, crawled under the stage. He was going to wire it underneath, all the stuff. But if you look at the back of the quote there on the first page, $10,295. Then I had Daytona Sound and Lighting Solutions come out, and I'm pretty sure he's the one that worked on Holly Hill's chambers. I'm not sure. One of them did. Anyway, he came out and basically said we could do it that way, or we could just get some wireless mics and I could come mix them, put a speaker on each side of the stage, put a mic at the podium, and all of that equipment we'll order ourselves from Amazon, and he'll come install it for $400 for a total of $1,322.57. So, and then the third guy didn't respond to a request for an appointment. So that's the two prices that.
So basically, this one, we would get the equipment, and the Daytona Sound and Lighting would do an install for.
Yeah, if you look at the list there, he gave me the links directly to Amazon and told me the quantities to order, and once we get it in, he'll come set it up and mix it and make sure it sounds good. You know, I don't know what the difference is between $1,300 and $10,000 in audio,
Quite a bit.
but maybe we'll find out.
Well,
It's about $8,000.
our former clerk got a quote for us several years ago, and it was $10,000.
I had looked into this. I looked into this last April or May when I first started looking into some improvements in here, and the one I got was $8,000. So this is the lowest one I found, and I just I was really honest with him up front, and I just said, listen, we're not trying to be professional. We're not putting on plays and concerts and stuff here, which he told me he could do that. He said he's mixed places for music, but I said we just need to record 5 council people and the podium. So I told him it'd be real simple. So.
Well, I make a motion for our audience sake. I know it's would probably be much easier for y'all to hear if we had a couple speakers out front. So I'm gonna make a motion that we accept a bid from Daytona Sound Lighting Solutions LLC for a total of $1,322.57, $922.57 of which is the actual equipment, and set up an installation for $400.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to accept this. Basically, we buy the equipment for $922.57, and Daytona Sound and Lighting Solutions will set it up for us for $400 for a total of $1,322.57. Is there a second? All right, motion's been made by Vice Mayor Robert F. Leland to purchase the equipment for $922.57 with a setup and installation of $400. It was seconded by Council Member Jimmy Anderson. Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I vote aye also. Motion carried.
That'll make it a lot easier for Paul anyway. We got.
It's all about you, Paul.
Not just Paul, everybody else.
I think it's been needed for quite some time.
So it's just not me.
I know,
No.
Paul. I just
Jim
teased you.
is hard to hear. He talks very softly,
Yep.
and I have a hard time hearing him up here. And he's looking right at me.
Our illustrious mayor is in the same category. Nothing personal, but thank you.
You're
On
welcome.
behalf of our citizens, us old citizens.
And your
Okay.
ears, Paul, don't forget about your ears.
I got it.
All right, moving forward. Item number 5G, building permit fee increases with Universal Engineering. I'm gonna turn that over to our town clerk, Yvonne Braddock.
All right, a couple weeks back, me and Ryan met with Mike Navarro from Universal, and we were discussing with him about building permit fees, because back in 2024, you can see at the top, we received $11,985.79 from building permits, but we paid out $32,293 to Universal. So we discussed this with Mike, and he said so that we would break even, a 20% increase on all permit fees would be the answer. So if we increase the permit fees, as you can see, there's a little example of current and proposed. And we would do inspections Monday through Friday. There would be no specific day. They would still have to call Universal, but they would do their inspections, and their inspection fees would be included in their building permit when they paid to
Right.
pick up their permit.
Right, that's,
So I'm bringing it all to you to make a motion that we put this into play, and then we would have a resolution created for the next meeting.
So we'll be adding the $75 inspection fee, right?
Correct.
I added those in the table that you see there. So-
Under proposed.
Yeah, so there are the current, if you take like 264.21 and subtract $75, that is what the current permit is, plus the inspection is the 264. So it's added into both columns. But the way Mike explained it to us is where the problem happened is that we based our permit fees on Volusia County's permit fee schedule. But Volusia County does not make money on re-roofs and HVACs, they make money on new builds. So they're able to keep their smaller permit fees very low because they make a bulk of their money on new construction. Well, at Pierson last year, we had 2 houses. So he said, there's no way that you would make money if you base it on Volusia County's fees. So the starting point would be, let's go up 20% and include the inspection fee. And then that should kind of bring us hopefully where we need to be. Just to break even, you know, we're not trying to make money on it. But
exactly.
you don't want to pay out. It's taxpayer money that we shouldn't be using to, you know, pay for permits. And inspections and that, you know, whatnot. But that was the problem is, you know, Volusia County can charge $56 for a roof permit because they probably made millions of dollars last year in commercial and residential home, you know, new builds. So
In 20,000 difference
it's
that
a lot.
we ate,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
a lot.
lot.
Yeah, a lot of money. Paul Martell, please come up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Paul Martell, 506 North Pine Street. I understand what you just said, and if I heard correctly, you're gonna break even.
Correct.
Correct. Ladies and gentlemen, you're a business. You gotta make a profit. You can't keep giving and giving and being a good guy. Good guys don't win in the United States of America. We gotta make a profit. So when you look over these numbers, let's 5% more. If I gotta put a garage in, so be it. I'm gonna pay the difference. I gotta pay it. But don't just break even. Please, don't do that.
It's
Thank you.
important to understand, Scott can explain this.
Yes.
better than I can.
Thank you.
Building permit fees, there are restrictions on how they can be used.
Although I agree, there's some things the cities can do where they can profit on, such as their enterprise funds like water, where they charge fees. State law regulates building permit fees, and you can't profit off building permit fees. It has to go back into the building service. I don't know if any of you've seen in the paper the issues Daytona Beach has. And they were sued by a big developer. I don't know if it's Margaritaville. Basically, Daytona has millions of dollars that they've collected in permit fees that they haven't spent. And so they were looking at buying a building, and that became a big political issue because it had asbestos in it or something like that. Well, Margaritaville, Minto, the developer, sued them, said, we want a refund. So we can't make a profit. So now you might be able to allocate certain costs that would be justifiable within, quote, the building department that we could look at, but we can't make a profit. The other thing I would suggest, considering some of my clients have done this, is like if a development requires the use of outside consultants, my time, Mark's time, they got to pay for it. That gets charged through, or you could maybe give them a little bit of attorney time, planner time, engineer time. But once you go over that, you got to pay for it, because it makes sense to me, because if you have someone comes in, they follow all the rules, and it doesn't even get to the attorney to look at, they pay a price, and then somebody who comes in is doing all these unique things, or they come in with a planned unit development that requires a development agreement that requires a lot of my time, they shouldn't pay the same price. They should pay more for it. So, if you're thinking about increasing your building permit fees, there's language we could put in that resolution that just says they also have to pay for or reimburse the city for the cost of outside consultants that the city actually pays for. And you don't get your CO, your permit, whatever it is. And that's done also for rezonings, comp plans, all the things. It just doesn't get a final approval. It doesn't go to this body for final approval until you pay everything. And so, and I don't know what kind of development activity you have or anything like that, but I predominantly represent small cities that don't have a lot of development activity. But when they do, because you don't have this internal employed staff, you've got to rely on outside consultants. And so when you go out to rely on those outside consultants, personally, I think they should pay for it.
Yeah.
So, and all, you could have, house come in, somebody builds a house, and they follow the rules to the T, doesn't require any time, so the city spends nothing. Somebody comes in and they want a variance, and they have, unique layout that causes questions and has to be looked at by the attorney, and all of a sudden, between the attorney and the planner and engineer, you got a couple of $1,000s tied up into it. It just doesn't seem equitable that they pay the same fee. So we could look at adding that. We've done that in other cities. I don't know if Mark has seen that.
Well, I think we need to at least.
Tonight, I think
Yes.
absolutely, yes.
I agree.
Well, I think it needs to come back as a resolution.
Right.
Correct.
So what they're asking for is direction to bring you back a resolution to approve it.
Right.
And when we
So
bring
he
it
can
back,
bring
we
you a
could,
resolution at the next meeting, so you.
we could add that language into that resolution when it comes back to the next meeting.
And Mark, we do have something similar to that because we collect fees for your time for when you're doing your variances or rezonings or.
So you do have language somewhere like that? Okay.
They signed an agreement in the application package. I don't know if I've actually seen the resolution where they adopted the fees, so I don't know what we can look for.
I think that we need to adjust it somehow because when we paid out over $32,000 and we only received a little less than $12,000, and kind of like I've said before, my tax money is being used to pay John Doe's building permit.
Subsidized.
And I just don't think I should have to subsidize somebody else's building permit fee. I would entertain a motion that we ask our attorney and Mark to get together and put together a resolution to address this issue. Been a motion made by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson to move forward with solving our discrepancies in our permit fees. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson, seconded by Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenland. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. If it is okay with everyone involved, I would like to skip over the updates and move on to another emergency agenda item, which is concerning our city well that we had a problem with, and go over that, and then go ahead and go through our old business, and then do the updates.
I make a motion that we declare this an emergency item, with the situation with our water system well, the problem we had here in the last few days.
There's been a motion made by Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenland to declare this an emergency agenda item regarding our city well and the issue we had over the weekend. Is there a second?
Second.
And the motion is made by Robert F. Greenland, seconded by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving along, let's talk about our well that we had an issue with. I know a lot of people and inform the people, we had a lightning strike at our water plant on Sunday morning. And as
The old one.
yeah, the
Yes.
old
Old
plant,
one.
the one that we're currently operating. Wellfield one, we'll call it. And as a result of that lightning strike, it completely wiped out one of our well pumps and shut the whole system down. And nobody was aware of that until people started running out of water. I mean, it was an act of God. A lightning strike hit the building. It was totally and beyond our control. But we responded to that immediately. I was there as soon as I found out about it on Sunday at around 12:30 to 1 p.m. City Works was already there, Public Works. I came out and we got well number 2 operational and got some water restored. Currently, we're running just on that one well. That one well cannot produce enough water to fill the tower and at the same time supply water to everybody that needs water in the town. So currently, we're running on that well, and I know there were some concerns about a loss in pressure today. When the thing happened on Sunday and Monday, when we were dealing with those 2 days, the schools were not in session. Today, the schools went back in session and they're using water. So the water pressure is down. And I just want everybody to know that the town is working on this just as hard as we can go, trying to resolve that problem. One of the issues is you have a well that has a 25 horsepower submersible pump in it, and I just can't go find one of those pumps and get it off the shelf. The pump has got to be ordered, and that's what we're going to talk about this estimate in a minute. Not only that, we're going to have to replace 150 feet of 4-inch drop pipe in that well, and we're going to have to replace between 160 and 170 feet of number 2 wire to supply that pump. Believe me, we're working on it as hard as we can go, and I apologize to anybody in the town if their water pressure happens to be low at this point in time. If we had our other wells online already, this problem wouldn't be existing. Unfortunately, they're not. And there's some situations there that are beyond the council's control until we get everything totally approved through the health department. So currently, if the council approves this, as soon as this meeting is over, we're going to contact Evans Well Drilling and get everything necessary as soon as possible to get everything running like it was prior to this lightning strike.
We have no choice.
We don't have any choice. It's going to happen. But I'll be happy to field any questions that anybody has. But I think I've told you everything I know, and I'm being as direct and honest as I can be. Yes, ma'am. Could you come up, please?
It's up in East Washington. Do we still need to boil our water?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's when the pressure drops, you'll let us know whenever we don't have.
We have to get something from CWS telling us that it's okay, and then we'll let everyone know.
That boil water notice is going to probably continue at least through Thursday. And is there anybody else out there that we can answer any questions or concerns about the water issue?
I do have a question.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Rick Davis, 153 East Second Avenue.
Could you come up to the podium, please, Rick? Sorry.
I have discussed this before. It's been a subject in this meeting before about our water tank not being full. I just think you need to figure out a way that that tank can be properly monitored so we know how much water is in it at all times. Okay. It was explained to me that it's being monitored by a air pressure or PSI situation. And that may be true, but that doesn't tell us how much water is in that tank. frankly believe that the tank was empty when this went down. Okay, because I can't imagine that tank being even half full and draining within a few hours. Definitely not through the city lines, unless something went haywire with a check valve, which is, I would suspect to be highly unlikely.
You're correct. It's a separate and unrelated problem.
And I just feel this town needs to figure out a way to monitor the level in that tank and to keep it full for this type of situation.
I agree with you 100%, and I want to let you know at this time that there's progress already heading in that direction to put a float valve or a float system in that tank so it can be visually monitored as to actually how full that tank is at any time. And I can't attest to how full that tank was when it went down, and I don't think any of us can. And it's definitely a very, very bad situation, but just thank the Lord that both pumps didn't get disabled at the time that went down. I do believe that there's a possibility that the pump that's running currently could have sustained some damage. I'm just hoping and praying that it'll keep working until we can get the other pump back online. So if the pump number 2 does go down, we'll still be able to furnish it. And if I could go buy a 25 horsepower submersible pump this evening and 150 feet of 4-inch drop pipe, we would do it. Yes, ma'am. Would you come up, please?
Well, Road, we've had other issues with lightning. Do we have any kind of lightning arrestor system up there?
Not that I know of. No, ma'am.
That is something that we should consider. This is by far the worst one I can think of. I can think of 2 other instances where we had lightning problems in that location.
I'm not aware of those lightning problems that may have happened before I came on
I mean,
board.
you certainly should ask CWS what would it cost to add a lightning arrestor,
If we could actually add one that would actually stop a direct lightning strike from causing that problem.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment that James Evans Well Drilling and Pump Repair is a very reputable company in this area, and this is something that has to be done. So with that, I would like to make a motion that we contract James Evans Well Drilling and Pump Repair for the total of $22,771 to get our well number 2 online ASAP.
The motion has been made by Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenland to accept this estimate from James Evans Well Drilling in the amount of $22,771.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Lenny R. Richardson. Yvonne, would you do a roll call vote on this item, please?
Councilwoman Brenda Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson?
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Freeland?
Yes.
Mayor Gray Leonard?
Yes. And in closing, this emergency item has been passed unanimously by a roll call vote. I would like you to, yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to add also that I have filed the insurance claim, so that you are all aware of that.
Okay. And, we're hopeful that our insurance is going to reimburse us for this, but whether they do or not, we need to get this item taken care of. And Yvonne, if you could, please, as soon as possible, tomorrow morning, contact Evans Well Drilling and tell them to go ahead as quickly as possible. Very good. Okay, so I want everybody to know that we are on top of it, and we're going to take care of it as soon as we can get the equipment to put back in the well. Okay, now, let's go ahead and do the updates. Item number 5H. I think I've had, given all the updates I need to give, because mine would be on the water system. Vice Mayor Glenn, do you have anything? on our updates?
No, not at this time. Old business.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson, do you have anything?
Oh, yes, I do. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I need to go back. I was informed today, by my brother-in-law, Lamar Dixon, there, y'all know him.
Yep.
Lamar was on his walk, I don't know, it was around noon time, he said, and there were two small children at the four-way stop there, County Road 3 and Washington Avenue, and Lamar asked them if they were okay, and they told him, yeah, we're okay, but there's a dog down here at this house, and we're scared to walk by it there because he is loose. And Lamar was afoot, so he walked back to his house and got Kathy in the car and came and picked them up. I can't remember whose grandchildren he told me they were, but anyway, it's 720, I guess, County Road 3 or North Volusia Avenue. The house just north of the Church of God, the first house has got the fence around it. They've got a fence around that house, but the gate stays open, and there is looks like a mixed German Shepherd, something there. And with what happened this past week in the land, something needs to be done about that. I don't know if
Animal control was up here today, so hopefully maybe somebody called in, because I've seen the dog truck go right there, go in that direction today, at the four-way going through there, so maybe that's what we have to do, right? Go to animal control.
Yes.
That's what sheriff would tell us.
You gotta go to animal control, and they go out there, and they talk to them. Usually what they do is, I'm not sure what they said they give them like a warning, and they start finding them.
Right.
But, yeah, it's a common problem with just dogs around, even at night, I see some dogs around.
Well, that needs to be taken care of tomorrow.
Can we,
Yeah,
contact Volusia County Animal Control tomorrow morning, early as we can, and,
720. The 720, I guess, is probably North Volusia Avenue.
and make sure that they have, just to find out if they've addressed that issue and if they haven't asked them to.
That's all I have.
Okay.
There.
Councilmember Jimmy Anderson, do you have anything? Councilwoman Laney Richardson? Okay. Do you have any updates for us?
No, can't say that I do.
Mark, do you have anything?
Well, the only thing one update, not much has changed since last week, but one thing has changed on the new water plans. They if you recall, one of the initial tests failed, so they had to retest. They retested yesterday. This is the lab.
That was for iron?
Yeah, they were on iron. So hopefully that issue has been taken care of.
Okay.
And it was retested, so it gets sent to a lab. And
Hopefully they flushed that well very well before they took the sample.
I've been told they have.
Okay.
But we'll see. And obviously, if all this is operating, we wouldn't have any of these problems.
Exactly.
And you don't need the water tower to maintain the pressure. I mean, it's there for storage. So,
The pumps is kind of primarily what maintains the pressure on that water system. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's one reason that the pressure's down, Rick, is because we've only got that one pump running. Okay. All right, moving on to number 6, old business, the 5K race. Tabled last time because actually I think we were waiting till we had our attorney present to look at this agreement for this 5K race. Is there anybody here tonight that can you come up and tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about this race?
Hi, so I'm Juana, and
what was your last name?
Solis. Juana Solis.
Okay.
Yeah. The 5K race is to help the fifth graders. They have their, every year they go on a field trip. They go to Universal Studios, and it's $140 for each student. So the money will be going there. The $15, for anybody that wants to join. But we're gonna do it on, we're allowed. We're gonna do it on March 15th, and it's the same day that the vendors are here. So it'll help out the vendors as well.
Okay, so the 5K race, if it's gonna go on, would be at the same, weekend as the vendor
Yes.
market, or same day?
Yes, the same day. To help out the vendors, because we're not doing so good as well. We are a small town and not everybody knows about it, even though we try to promote it. But on this one,
Okay.
we're gonna use the sidewalk.
You're gonna use the sidewalk for the,
So we'll start, if you allow us, we'll start here. Everybody will park at the park. We'll go to Pierson Elementary on the sidewalk, and then go to Second Street, and then we'll end up back here, and that's like.
so you're gonna come back down County Road 3?
No.
No, come back down the sidewalk.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is through the school then?
No, I'm gonna give the money to the school. I haven't talked to the guidance counselor yet because I was wanting to make sure we're allowed first, and then I'm talking to the guidance counselor.
I know before when we had a 5K or whatever here, they had to bring us proof of insurance, they had to supply, traffic control with the sheriff's department. I don't know.
I guess that was gonna be my question is this a city-sponsored event?
No.
No, so do we have a contract with whoever the organizer is?
Sure.
Okay, you're the organizer?
All we have is this.
Yeah, that's the contract that I made for the liability and stuff for the participants.
This is for the participants.
Yeah.
Just
So
on-
you could see. And I just wanted to know what's the next step kind of thing. First time, trying to help out, trying to be better community.
I know one of the cities I represent, Lake Helen, they have something called the annual Stress Buster run. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's nationwide. People, they had like 800-900 people involved in it, and they do it on Christmas Eve every year. And so theirs is pretty heavily organized. I could look to find the agreement form that we have with, we contract. That one I think is a city event, but we contract with somebody to put it on for us. This is a little different. Somebody's just asking for authorization to do this event. Do y'all have a special event permit? That may be the best way to do this, to say, here's a special event permit for you to do this. This form is good. I mean, this has all the stuff you would like to have in there. But then the question is, you just want to clearly delineate the city's role in this event. And so if we issue you a permit, then you're the one organizing, putting on this permit. We're just issuing a permit to authorize the use. And that helps insulate us from liability, as opposed to if we're putting on the event, then we have more concern about liability. If it's our 5K race, then we may have more liability.
But would we be allowed to just be up here?
If the commission or staff approves it, yes, that doesn't make it a city event.
I think that'd be a good idea to do a special event permit for this, even if we did a special event permit for no cost. Since it's for the charity. But I think that the special event permit would cover us. So.
Yvonne, do y'all have an application, a special event?
I do, I don't have it with me right now.
No, but you do have one?
Yeah, I can send it to you tomorrow.
Okay. So maybe get with Yvonne and get the special event application. And does that typically come back to the commission for approval?
We don't have that many special events.
Don't have any special events.
I don't think it would have to come back to it to the council for approval. I think it just needs to be completed by her and maybe email a copy of it to you.
Yeah.
Make sure there's not a problem.
Other than, typically, if there's a waiver of a fee, staff that can't do that, that comes before this body to waive.
You just have to make that decision.
So if you wanted to say, if they fill out the application, the city's gonna issue the permit, y'all could authorize staff not to charge a fee. So it doesn't have to come back to you.
Okay. The chair would entertain a motion.
I have another question.
Okay, sorry.
So when you do you know what the rule, I mean, what do you have to have? Is this?
I looked it up and it says I have to have insurance, which I will get. I just haven't gotten it yet because I have to make sure we're allowed.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about like law enforcement to know where the roads are, where they're crossing the roads or any kind of stuff like that, or is that stuff, I don't know.
Typically, and
I
it's
don't
not
want you
just
to
for
say-
5K, and y'all don't do a lot of special events apparently, but
They do a 5K here in town, the high school does one once a year, or they were doing one.
They have done it, yes, but they used to
I
run,
used to do it.
they used to run by my house.
Right.
usually what I've seen done before, and I'm not saying that's the only thing you can do it, but with a special event application, you would attach something like this to say, okay, here's the route, and then it would be reviewed by staff, including Volusia County Sheriff, and then they would say, this is what needs to be done through the approval process of the special event permit. That, depending on how many people, do you need porta-johns at the start? Do you need porta-johns at the end? Depending on what's going to go on. Where's parking going to be? Is that going to be organized? If people are running, just looking at it, they're running a straight line. So if they park at one spot, how are they going to get back to where their car is? That might be a question. They're going to. It's not like they're running 2.5 miles. They're going back down the sidewalk.
There's a sidewalk going towards the park.
Well, no, they're going to run 5 miles that way. Then they're going to get 5 miles back.
5K is only 3 miles.
Oh, 5K is only 3
Yeah,
miles.
5K is only 3 miles.
You can tell I don't. But if it's just a loop, that's good. And then, but I think I would have law enforcement look at it to make sure that do they see any issue with having it along the way, and public works can look at it as well. That's what I've seen other cities do.
So would I have to talk to the deputy about it?
What you would do is you would start with filling out I think you would fill out the special event permit application, and then staff would.
No charge.
Yeah, with no charge if they approve that. Then staff would get circulated with the appropriate people, and staff would get comments back to see if anything you need to do for safety or anything like that. That's what I've seen done in the past.
I'll make a motion for her to apply for a special event permit and go to the appropriate departments. And if everything is clear, then I don't have a problem with putting on a 5K race. And waiving the fee.
Okay, there's been a motion made by Vice Mayor Robert F. Freeman concerning this 5K event to have them fill out the special events permit request and waive any fees. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion seconded by Randy Pierson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried.
Hope to see you there. It would be nice to see you face to face, Pierson.
On item number 6B, moving on, it's flagpole replacement and sign removal at the town center. Our flagpole here at our town center is not in the very best shape in the world. And the old sign out front basically is not being used, and I think that Public Works and staff kind of want to get rid of it because it doesn't look very good. So both of these things are on the same agenda item. They probably should have been separate, but I just wanted to get the council's thoughts on replacing the flagpole with a better flagpole. And I have you guys have a copy of these flagpole prices in your packet?
Yes.
find a commercial flagpole is, a little bit of a challenge, especially when we can afford. And, I haven't contacted this company to find out what the shipping is, but the price on the flagpole itself is $1,490.95. If the council thinks that we might want to, get a new flagpole, I would just ask it, give me the latitude to research this and find out how much the shipping would be, and then maybe try to find another flagpole company that would be comparable to this.
This one shipping says it's $479 for this shipping.
The only one I have.
So 2,084.
I only have one quote for a flagpole.
The only quote I have for a flagpole is one for $1,490.95. Do you have that one?
No, this is the one that's in the packet. This is the one the Yvonne presented last time, but I think it might have gone up in price.
Okay.
It's $1,605 now, and then I added the shipping to it and then put a total on there.
Okay, I'll see it.
And then if you look at the back page, that's all the specs. I tried to find one that was 25 foot, which is what ours is, same diameter, and also I tried to find one that was the most wind resistant. I think this one, it should say on there, 137 miles per hour when unflagged or 105 when flagged. Most of the cheaper ones hold up to like 80-mile-an-hour winds, so I don't know how long that will last in Florida.
I don't think it would last very long. The flagpole that I have the quote on here is a 20-foot one-piece flagpole with a wind speed rating of 136 miles an hour.
So it might just be the 5-foot smaller one from the same company, probably.
This is called Flagpole Company?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's probably same thing, just 5 foot shorter.
It's the same company. What was that quote?
This one was $1,605. The shipping is $479 flat fee, so it would be the same for either one of them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, both of them are from the same company. So, how do you guys feel about getting a better looking flagpole, number one?
Well, I think we need a new flagpole, but I think we need to explore other avenues.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, they're expensive. Every one I've ever looked at.
I see them advertised on social media all the time. I never pay attention. I never have clicked on it to see what the price of one is, but I mean,
you'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised. Amazon sell them?
But I think
they're all around the same price.
Really?
Well, you can get the ones that let you store together, but like I said, they hold up to 70-mile-an-hour winds. So
you can get smaller flagpoles, and as far as the diameter goes and stuff like that. Yeah. But these flagpoles that we're looking at they're commercial grade flagpoles, and they're the type of flagpoles that you can see basically in front of a post office or another city hall or a bank.
Some of these
something similar to what we had at the bank.
$4,800 to $10,000.
They're
wow, crazy.
Yeah, they're. Flagpoles are very expensive. So,
yeah, this
I mean,
one,
this
to me, it looks like it's leaning a little more all the time.
It's leaning and it's ancient.
Is ours bent? Is that what's wrong with it, or is it just?
I think it's leaning? I think it's bent. It probably got bent from winds. It's very old.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's a freak.
So what do you guys think?
It probably is the original.
I think it broke out the ground once, and then they rigged it back up.
They got it rigged up between those two pieces of metal.
Some of the ones that we ordered, they're meant to, they're on a swivel thing, so you can change them out. Yeah. So maybe that one was designed that way. I don't know.
Well, if we're gonna go to the expense of putting the river rock out in front, we might as well have a nice looking flagpole, the way I look at it. So we can fly our national flag and our state flag. So with that, I'll go ahead and make the motion to purchase a new 25-foot aluminum flagpole. Is this the one we want?
Yes.
For $2,084, shipping and handling included.
Okay, there's been a, motion made by Vice Mayor Robert F. Freeman to purchase the 25-foot aluminum flagpole from, the flagpole company in the amount of $2,084, which includes shipping costs. Is there a second? Motion's made by Vice Mayor Robert F. Freeman and seconded by Councilmember Jimmy Anderson. Ready for the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
T.
That's it, no more.
T.
No more. That's it.
Okay, moving on to old business item number 5C, vacating Fifth Avenue. Councilwoman Lenny R. Richardson.
Yes, thank you. So this was tabled because we didn't have an attorney present last time. So let me kind of clue Scott in. Off Hagstrom Road, I think Hagstrom Road's first, is a dirt road that, yes, goes north. It had a culvert not far off the right of way. When we had the hurricane and the influx of all the rain, it washed that culvert away, created a cavern, 15 feet deep. So historically, the state, DOT, maintains a ditch through a cow pasture, and the ditch flows to this particular culvert. So we reached out to them for help, since they are the ones that utilize this drainage area. And of course they said, oh no, they've never done anything with that culvert. So the property happens to be in the middle of Alvin Hagstrom and Sons properties. They have fern wreaths to the east. They have cow pastures to the west. So they ended up generously saying, we'll fix the road. So our old attorney had made the comment that we could, what was the term, Mark? Vacate the road and basically abandon it and deed it to Alvin Hagstrom and Son.
Couldn't do the last part, but you can vacate it.
Okay.
The road that we're talking about vacating is a dirt road that basically runs from the end of Frederick Street to Hagstrom Road, and all properties on both sides of that road belong to Alvin Hagstrom and Son Incorporated. And at times of the year, that road is locked, padlocked. It's a dirt road. It's non-maintained. It's just a dirt road. It basically functions as a driveway in and out of their
property.
How do we know it's a public road? Is it platted that way?
It's platted.
It's platted? Yeah, the city can vacate it. And what happens, the reason I said you can't deed it is when you vacate it, ownership goes by operational law. We take our rights off that property, and then the underlying fee owner, the owner of the property, typically it's your abutting property owners. It just by operational law goes to them. We can't control where it goes. So we either retain, the easement, or we vacate it. Right away, and easements are all kind of the same thing in my book. But yeah, you would do that by a resolution or ordinance, and you would vacate it according to public records. You'd have a legal description of the land we're vacating, and we would just vacate it. And then, especially if there is no public use for that. That part of the vacation is to say there is no public use, foreseeable public use or public benefit.
I mean,
it's all private.
Yeah.
The land on both sides of that road, once you get to their first gate, if you're coming off of Frederick Street, all the way to Hagstrom Road, is owned by Alvin Hagstrom and Son Incorporated. And they lock those gates to keep people from going in there and stealing their agricultural products.
Yeah, and technically you can't.
But,
can't lock it, right.
but since you said, I mean, we'd have to get a legal description. So we're gonna have to survey it then, right?
You should have a legal description. I don't know if
That's
attaching the
arm's
flag.
length survey that. Yeah, I wouldn't wanna have to pay to survey that.
No.
I wouldn't wanna have to pay the money. to
Usually,
drop
usually the way this happens is the landowner approaches the city, the city or the town and asks to abandon. And so we usually tell them to pay for a, survey, legal description of the area they want us to vacate. I don't know how we do it in this case.
Yeah. And it may not be that hard where they don't have to go out with a survey. I know people have sometimes looked at it and said the westerly 25 feet, and it's, if the platted right of way just goes right along the plat line, they can just say the westerly 25 feet of plat so-and-so, we hereby vacate all. So I don't know how, it gets really hard when you have a prescriptive easement, which is acquired through use. Usually those things kind of meander around where people drove. That's much harder to deal with.
Well, this road does have a little twist and a bend in it.
Yeah, it does.
But on the plat,
It doesn't include that
map,
twist and bend.
the twist and bend is not part of Fifth Avenue on the plat. It does not go all the way through to Frederick. It stops at those magnolia trees.
Okay, it stops there where what we call Finico Hammock, where the
So the bend and the bends and stuff are not included on the Fifth Avenue on the map
Okay.
as platted.
What I can do is work with Mark, look at the plat, see if a simpler form of survey or legal description could be created. And then I'll talk to one of the attorneys I work with that does title work, because really what you're talking about is a title issue.
Yeah.
You want to clear the title, you can move on. And so that would just be, you want to make sure that if we had this ordinance, attach this legal to it, would that clear the title up? So there'd be no issue.
Let me ask you this question. The people that own the land on the other side of this road that we're talking about vacating, we need to talk to them and make sure they want us to vacate that.
I have spoken to two of them, and they both said, yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
I spoke to one.
okay. I mean, I'm sure they would. Yeah. While we have council here, I wanted to get their opinion on that culvert going out. DOT has a ditch that they maintain from US Highway 17 in a straight line to where that culvert goes out and washed out, for the sole purpose of draining stormwater off of US Highway 17. Eric, Albert Hakeman, I talked to them, that ditch is absolutely maintained by DOT from time to time. They keep it open.
Yeah.
And the problem I had with what Albans had to do by putting that culvert in out of their own pocket was that ditch is maintained by DOT to drain Highway 17, and it runs directly to where that culvert is, down the edge of the public street, Hakeman Road, and then drains off into just a swamp, basically. I just felt like that DOT should have taken some sort of responsibility for that culvert blowing out, because they're the ones that maintain the drainage ditch from US Highway 17
To that point.
straight line to where that culvert is. And they flat said, not our problem.
Well, part of the problem with any flooding that occurred during this last hurricane, anywhere, it was an exceptional amount of rainfall that goes beyond any design criteria that anybody's built to, and everybody's required to build to. So that's one of the problems. Now, the question I would have, if the property owner said, well, if you're not going to fix the DOT, then I'm just going to fill this in, what would happen? Now maybe DOT would have taken I don't know if DOT would have taken a different position. They're saying, well, we're not going to fix the culvert, it doesn't do us anything, we're just going to go ahead and block it up.
Well,
and fill it.
I think their problem with that, they know quite well, and if they blocked up that culvert, they're just gonna flood.
It's gonna blow it out again.
It's gonna either blow that block
Yeah.
out, or it's gonna flood all their property between there and Highway 17.
Could, and then, I don't know, I don't have an answer for it.
Okay.
In terms of, I know I am sure that the amount of rainfall, the stormwater that was flowing through there far exceeded any design criteria that was ever intended.
Okay.
Obviously, the Haitian could maybe pursue a claim, for the damages that they sustained. It's kind of hard to tell.
Okay, getting ready to move right along on, item number 5C, vacating, 6C, vacating Fifth Avenue. I would entertain a motion, to proceed with that as directed by our council.
Which is basically, I would work with Mark to see if we could come up with an inexpensive legal description that we could vacate the interest on the right of way.
Okay, there's been a motion made to, turn this item over to our council and our town planner to see about vacating Fifth Avenue, running through the middle of Albert Hastings and Sons property. Is there a second? Seconded by Brandy Peterson. Ready for the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Item 6D, under old business, disposal of the tires at our new barn pile site. It was tabled from our last meeting. It's back on the agenda. I'd like to see us go ahead and move forward with that. Get these tires. Did we ever get a hold of GEL, Gene Evans Recycling, or anything on this? We have, the only other option we have is to dispose of these things through the solid waste site down by the fairgrounds off Highway 44. We need to do something with these tires. And I don't know how you guys think. I'm asking your opinion. Do you want to go ahead and move forward with collecting these tires and haul them to the disposal site down off 44 and disposing of them? I mean, I don't think, do they charge?
We spoke to Lewis and the guys at Public Works. They said they could put them in our dump truck and haul them. It's charged by the ton. It's anywhere between $172 a ton to $288 a ton if they're oversized tires, but we figured that's probably the cheapest option because if you pay a company to come here to dispose of them, they're going to charge.
Are they mostly old?
They're mostly car
I mean,
tires.
are they any over?
Yeah, they're no big tractor tires or anything. And I think if we're gonna haul these tires down there, we also have 35 to 50 tires at behind the work barn. There's 5 from the old farm, okay. And there's 2 or 3 tires in behind the old fire station where our barn is there.
Yeah.
I think if we're gonna move the tires, we ought to try to gather all of them up.
Let's get rid of them.
And get rid of them. Are we all agreed?
I move to approve, that, Public Works loads up the tires that are in question tonight and get rid of them for $172 a ton.
Okay.
At the transfer, at the West Volusia Transfer Station.
All right, the motion's been made to dispose of these tires through the West Volusia Transfer Station. It was $172 a ton. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Jimmy Anderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, item number 6E on old business is stump grinding on 2nd Avenue at Nixon Park. Has anybody, have you guys been able to get a hold of Charles to see about getting this done? We got a price on him here.
Well, we have a price for KR Land Development and for M&B.
We asked.
Yeah, because I wanted to know how many stumps there was.
There were 9 stumps.
But those, there's only 3 in the park. Those
Yeah.
other stumps aren't on the right of way?
There are some stumps that look to me like they're between, County Road 3 and the fence.
They look like they're right on the right of way of County Road 3. Why wouldn't that be? If they're on what?
They're
On the other side of the ditch? Well, they are they're on the east side of the ditch, but that ditch isn't about this far off the road. What is the right of way there though? Is it 60 feet?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I did.
That was my question.
Maybe the county ought to be the one grinding their stuff.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I mean, no, we definitely have three. There's three of them there inside the park.
Right.
That we need to do, exactly. But my question is the county responsible for those other 6? Or 5, however many there is there?
There's 9 altogether.
Yeah. So there's
That
6.
includes the one.
That's 6.
There's 6.
That's 6 of them that's in
outside.
question.
Yes.
That I'm questioning whose property it is. If it's on the county road, County Road 3, the county.
The
pays
county
that road.
and they maintain those ditches.
They maintain the ditches. What's the right of way there? That's all I'm asking.
I don't know. Maybe, Jimmy could help us out with that if they went down there and looked at it and determine if they're on or off.
Because it's not those.
They're not far off of the
It's
pavement.
not far off that pavement.
I don't know what their right of way is. I know what ours is, but I don't know what
Ours is mostly 60 feet on a lot of those streets, right?
all of ours is 60 feet, except for our own family.
So that being
That-
30 feet from center, right?
Right.
If that right of way is 30 feet from center, I promise you, that's on county property. That's on their right of way. 6 of those stumps are.
Yeah, the
Now,
one.
3 of them are definitely ours. That was my only.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Only thing is, we, made the stumps. We took the trees out to protect everything.
We took the trees out because the storm knocked them down.
Right, yeah. We took the trees out because the storm knocked them down.
We had to basically clear it out.
Clear the road.
Right.
So yeah, why don't we, I guess, would that be Road and Bridge or who would that be?
First off, let's see if we can verify what we believe, whether it's on our dirt or on the county's dirt.
Right.
If it's on the county's property, then we need to I agree with, Bobby, we need to get with the county and see if they can grind them stumps. However, the one on Second Avenue is definitely our stump, and it is definitely a potential danger there for somebody to hit it if you're going down that street.
And there's no doubt that there's 3 of the ones at Nixon Park are ours.
Okay.
And they are right there, one of them's right there at the fence.
And there's 2.
There's 2 on the inside.
Just past them towards the road. That is probably ours. But the rest of them is, like you say, they're right there on the edge of that ditch.
I don't know, let's not spend 30 minutes on this though.
No. Let's gather our facts and then read.
Let's find out where those
This
other
table,
stumps are at.
I move to table this again until we get our facts straight.
Okay, then a motion, made by Vice Mayor Robert R. Fleming to table this until we can, ascertain for sure where the stumps are at Nixon Road Park, whether they're on city property or county property. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to table until we find the information out on those stumps. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried.
What about the one on Second Avenue?
I was gonna bring that back up if I may.
Okay.
The stump on Sixth Avenue, on Second Avenue, I think we need to get if we're gonna address that stump, we need to get a quote to grind that one stump.
Yeah, I guess.
So that stump definitely needs to be removed. We need to get a hold of Charles and Taylor and get prices on grinding that stump.
On that one stump.
That definitely has to be, or it should be taken out.
It needs to, and that's definitely ours.
Can you guys do that, get a hold of them and get a quote on that? Thank you very much. And if once we get those quotes, I'd like us to bring that back up on the next agenda so we can make a decision to get those things taken out. Okay, item number 6F, purchase of pole saw for public works. That was tabled, but that has already been taken care of. And I think the guys are currently using it, right? Or have they got?
I went down there and talked to Jeff, and it become, I think like 500 and something for a new saw, is what he told me.
It's in your packet.
Yes,
Or maybe
it was $503.99.
503. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was 503.
and it extends to 17 feet.
It extends to 17 feet. I thought maybe we'd already purchased that. But
No.
we haven't.
No.
We have not. We tabled it.
Well, we tabled
Okay.
that.
Also, ask Jeff that we might even be able to get a little bit less than that. We might be able to get a discount off of that price.
That is.
That is
That
with
is
the
right.
discount.
Okay.
That is with
That
the
is with the
discount.
discount.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I inquired about it too also.
Did you?
We need to purchase this pole saw.
I make a
and,
motion,
make
I make a motion that, we purchase the pole saw from Central Florida Fern Co-op for the amount of $503.99.
There's been a motion made by Vice Mayor Robert F. Glenn to purchase a new pole saw for our public works guys from, Central Florida Fern Co-op for the price of $503.99. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded by Councilmember Randy Pierson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. We're gonna buy a new saw.
Do we not have a pole saw?
Yeah, we got one.
Extend.
It'll stand about like that flagpole right here. I mean, that's about as long as it is. It's all one solid saw.
Brought down there, Jeff, probably 2 or 3 times, and it comes back the same damn way.
Moving on, item number 6G, Surety Bank CD renewal, tabled in the last meeting, Deputy Clerk Ryan.
Our surety bank, one of our surety bank CDs is up for renewal on the 24th. We need to determine if we want to just renew it for another 6 months. It was previously an interest rate of 5.1%, but I called surety and their current rate is 2.5% for 6 months. But I mean,
And you said a lot of the other
most
banks
of the other
are
banks are even
one.
cheaper than that at this point.
Right.
They're 1 point whatever, 2. We can't do it at a credit union because the law still says a credit union cannot, or the law has been changed, but I don't know that the credit union we were interested in has gone through the process of applying to be a depository for municipal funds, et cetera, et cetera. So in the meantime, 2.5 is what they could do for us.
And how long is that term?
6 months.
6 months. That will make us enough to buy that saw and grind at least half them stumps. $2,650.
I mean, it's better than
It's better than nothing.
Right,
Better
and it's for
making
6
nothing.
months, I mean, in 6 months, hopefully, right,
Okay.
lots of things are gonna change.
Mayor, we're gonna entertain a motion to, keep our, CD at, Surety Bank.
Move to renew our CD, at Surety Bank for a period of 6 months at a current rate of 2.5.
Then a motion made by, Councilwoman Lenny Richardson to renew our CD at Surety Bank for 6-month renewal for the amount of 2.5% interest. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded by Robert F. Freeman. Ready for the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6H, I'd like to just remove this from the agenda at this time. I don't even want to table it because, I need some more discussion with Huff Electric before we proceed at all. So I would entertain a
So
motion.
moved.
All right, motion is made by Robert F. Freeman to remove this from the agenda until, a later time. Is there a second? Motion made and seconded to remove this from the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
6I, removal of public works equipment, was tabled back on 114, Councilmember Jimmy Anderson. And I think we were gonna wait till we got a legal opinion from our attorney on how we could actually dispose of this surplus equipment that we have. We have a lot of surplus equipment. We've got just some couple old lawnmowers and some stuff that's just junk. And we recently had to replace our tractor because it broke down. And we don't want to know, how we can go about legally. Do we have to, can we scrap it, or do we have to take it up an auction, put it up for bid, or how can we?
I'd have to see if your purchasing ordinance sometimes dictates what you do with it, but usually step one is declaring a surplus. And then there are various ways you dispose of surplus equipment. If it has no value, you can scrap it. If it has a value, you can send it to an auction. I don't know if I've ever, I've seen bicycles being surplus and like old computer equipment being surplus before in cities. A lot of times, the old computer stuff is not valuable at all. But it will depend on the value. I don't know if I know there's like, vehicles, there's auctions for vehicles. I don't know about lawnmowers and things like that.
Well, the 1 turn lawnmower that's sitting there, behind where our work on it, it's probably been sitting there for 10 or 12 years or maybe longer.
I don't know if it's feasible, but you could just accept public bids. Have people come and look at it, say, everybody submit bids on a certain date, we'll take whoever gives us the highest bid to see if there's any value to it, after you declare a surplus. If there's not like.
But we can't, why can't we just scrap it?
You can, you just won't throw it away.
I mean, especially that 0-turn lawnmower is worthless.
Yeah, if it has no
We got
value.
other equipment over there that needs to be addressed. Like that old yellow tractor that we got over there.
Yep.
Now we got that John Deere back there that it cost us more to fix than why we bought a new one. We got an old slate mower over there at the old burn pile. We got a bunch of odds and ends stuff. Got a generator in the building that the generator part ain't no good, but the motor is still good. I mean, we got stuff that somebody would be interested in buying, especially the tractors for the motors to go on something else, or even that generator motor could go on a pump somewhere.
So how about we get a list, an inventory of everything that is in question here?
Yeah, the first step is declare surplus. So it comes to you in a resolution, you declare all this surplus. That gives me time to see if you're purchasing ordinance, usually it also deals with disposal of property, how you do that. And then staff can also try to see if there's some way they can come up, if there's any value to any of this stuff, or if there's other auction services, or however people dispose of this type of stuff. If we had done your tractor, you probably could send to an auction, probably could have sold an auction, but there's companies that do that kind of stuff. I've known one city I represented, they had a company came in, and I can't remember what they were disposing of, but just gave them a price, and look, we'll buy all this for you from this price. They haul it off, and then they go. But step one is have a list, and then declare it a surplus.
Could we, maybe direct public works to put together an inventory of all that equipment?
Yeah.
That's non-functional, all our surplus equipment?
I think I would include with that, I would say, make a list of all non-functional equipment.
They talk to
Equipment they
you,
want to declare surplus, and look into options for disposing of that equipment. And then we can bring all that back.
So but the first thing we need to do, if we can get public works to put together that list. And do we need to put that in the form of a motion? Or exactly we'll do it.
I don't,
I don't think we need to put that in motion. Okay, can you,
usually, actually, those things usually come from staff, initiated, and they come to the commission and say, hey, this is surplus equipment we have, we need you to declare surplus. It's usually staff generated.
so what we're gonna need you guys to do is put together a list of what we got that's not working. Okay, we're back to staff reports. Is, the
I
council?
have a question. There's
Yes.
a electric quote in here, estimate for the flagpole that we didn't approve or do anything with.
Oh,
That's the flagpole.
we didn't
That was
approve.
part of the thing that Gray said he wanted to take off the agenda.
I want to take that off the agenda until we can get, more firm prices.
Oh, okay.
We don't have,
So
we don't have a
wondering
lot
if
currently on our flagpole,
Yeah,
and,
I
we
was
can,
assuming that's what this is for.
we can do that.
We approved the flagpole, so I'm just making sure we didn't miss the.
No, it was two separate things, actually. All right, moving on to, number 7, other business, council and staff reports. I don't have anything else.
I don't.
Jimmy? Councilwoman?
I have none.
Randy?
Nope.
Mark? Anybody else? Okay. Good and welfare, public participation. I recognize you got your hand up first, Mary Kay, could you come up, please?
Okay, Mary Kay Hansen, 367 East Washington Avenue.
Okay.
I think it was back in October, the gentleman that was managing the airport came and gave his resignation, and we didn't accept it because it was kind of like, let's kind of hold off on that. I wanted to know what came of it. If he is he still managing the airport? Is somebody taking care of it?
I spoke to Olin, shortly after that,
Yeah.
and what his, what he told me is that he does not mind doing the airport stuff, but he wanted to be notified whenever there was anything on the agenda regarding the airport. And I think there may have been a situation where there was something on the agenda and he wasn't notified about it, and I think he just got his feathers ruffled. But he did tell me that he would still do it.
He gave us two very different stories, because he emailed me and told me he needed to come in here for 30 minutes and change the contact over for that, because he was not doing it anymore.
Okay, well,
let me just add to that, just what's recently happened with all of our rain. The airport had to be closed because it was too wet for anybody to land on it. I mean, people were getting stuck in.
Every time it rains hard, we go into this and we have to put the X's on.
We did.
He has to call and do it.
Our public works guys put the X's on it. Yeah. But in doing that, you also have to notify FAA and file a notum that the airport is closed. I called Owen and spoke to him on the phone, and he took care of filing that notum, and it's good. The airport is closed currently through February the 1st. And if we need to extend it, you can't just do it indefinitely. You have to do it for a period of time. And if we need to extend it, he said he would be happy to do that. So, but your answer to that question is no, he's not our airport manager anymore. And I think I'm listed on the committee as the chairperson for that committee. Councilwoman Richardson's on that committee, and I don't know who the third person is off the top of my head. I don't know. But whenever that airport gets to a situation like it is, you have to go through a procedure. And this notice to airmen, I think is what they call it. It's called a note. And they do that because that way the FAA, when people want to come land at this airport, they can look and automatically see whether that airport's open or closed.
I just was up in the air, so I didn't know how it's.
Well, it kind of probably still is up in there a little bit.
Okay.
But currently, I'm trying to take care of that, and he was kind enough to help me with that. Yes, ma'am.
Sue Elliott in Shoe Road. What is the status on Washington Avenue They duly pushed us almost into that cavern that's on the side by the, health center.
The latest, status that I know of on the culvert on Washington Avenue at the school, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
gotten very
it's
big.
the same status as the culvert on North Road. Currently, it's being looked at by, FEMA to see if they can help us cover the cost of that.
It has really opened up again.
We can't do anything until we get FEMA approval. I mean, obviously, if it falls in, I guess we fill it up. And my personal feeling on that was from the beginning that it was the school board's responsibility because it's their culvert and their culvert alone. And I don't know where Todd is at. Didn't he have some discussions with them as well?
Yeah, there were meetings, a lot of discussion about where the water flows, all that sort of stuff. I think we're in detente till FEMA.
Todd did tell me he could get a price from us to have someone sleeve it.
Yeah.
And then eventually he said, worst case scenario, you just gotta open a narrow strip of patron over it, fix all of the, the packing around it or whatever, and just repave. But he thinks if you sleeved it, that would prevent it from further deteriorating and leaking, and then it wouldn't create a void again. I talked to him about that Monday maybe, yesterday, and he knew some people that could give us a quote on that. I don't know what it would be. I don't know how that would affect FEMA. I do know that sometimes FEMA, if you have to make repairs, you just document everything really well, and then, they come back and they see what's reimbursable and what's not. So, I mean, if we have to do stuff to it, we have to do stuff to it.
In terms of what's going back and forth school board, if FEMA says no, then that's sort of, that discussion is to be continued.
Okay. Does that help you? All right, anybody else have anything? Being no further business, I would, before we go, we have some events I need to announce. Pierson Saddle Club, number 4 Buckle Series, Pole and Barrel is going to be Saturday, February 1st, 2025. It starts at 10:30 a.m. We have the Pierson Vendors Market that's coming up on Saturday, February 15th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And our next meeting schedules for the council are going to be Tuesday, February 4th, 6:30 p.m., Tuesday, February 18th, same time. And there's currently a planning commission scheduled for Tuesday, February 25th at 6 p.m. And no further business, this meeting is adjourned.